In today's episode here on Mysterious Space, we're taking a trip back to the 1950s, specifically the year 1952. One night at Mount Palomar, guess what happened? 3 stars simply vanished from the universe. What could explain this? Why did these stars disappear? Is there an explanation? Let's unravel it all in this video. So, let's step into our time capsule and travel back to July 19th, 1952. We're heading up the mountain, off to Palomar Observatory, the Grand Astronomy Observatory. On that night, a photographic survey of the night sky was underway. The project aimed to capture multiple images of the same sky region to detect things like asteroids, a technique still used today. Around 8:52 p.m. local time, a photographic plate captured the light from 3 clustered stars with a magnitude of 15, relatively bright for Palomar's telescope. No issues so far. The trouble arose when, at 9:45 p.m, they re-photographed the same sky area, and upon developing the plate, the 3 stars had simply vanished. In about 50 minutes, 3 stars disappeared from the universe. How is that possible? This sparked a quest to explain the disappearance of these stars. Stars don't just vanish out of thin air. When a star explodes as a supernova, it leaves remnants or a debris cloud that can be observed. Even if it's a nova, another type of explosion, it brightens and then returns to a specific brightness, but doesn't completely disappear. Could the stars have collapsed directly into a black hole? It's a possibility, but that's a very elusive phenomenon, very hard to witness. Now, imagine seeing 3 stars simultaneously collapsing into a black hole. That would be even more improbable. Researchers revisited the area using other telescopes, intensifying their observations to a magnitude of 24. They found nothing. Comparing the magnitude 24 to the initial magnitude of 15, it meant they investigated objects that were 10,000 times fainter than the stars they first observed. Still, these stars were nowhere to be found. Now let's explore the 3 or 4 best explanations for the disappearance of these 3 stars in the universe. First off, one idea suggests these were not 3 separate stars, but perhaps a single star. Maybe a star briefly flared up, emitting something like a fast radio burst FRB, possibly from a magnetar. As this happened, a stellar mass black hole could have passed in front of us observers, causing the illusion of 3 stars through gravitational lensing. However, this event would be extremely rare, almost improbable. It's fascinating but highly unlikely for a black hole to pass, just as an FRB occurs. Another idea proposes that these objects weren't stars at all. The 3 bright points were positioned within 10 arc-seconds of each other. If they were individual objects, something could have triggered their brightness. Given the time interval of around 50 minutes, considering the speed of light, they couldn't be separated by more than 6 astronomical units, roughly 6 times the distance between the Earth and the Sun. This implies they shouldn't be more than 2 light-years apart. The suggestion here is that these supposed stars, which might not actually be stars, could be objects from the Oort cloud, a region filled with comets at the outer edge of the solar system. Some event could have caused these objects from the Oort cloud to brighten and then dim again, making them undetectable as they're extremely faint, distant and small. So we have a couple of explanations. One linked to an FRB with gravitational lensing, another proposing they might not be stars but objects from the Oort cloud. There's still a third explanation for this mystery. The third explanation revolves around Palomar Observatory's proximity to the deserts of New Mexico. In the 1950s, shortly after World War II, significant nuclear tests occurred in New Mexico. It's proposed that between taking the first photo and the subsequent one, radioactive dust from these nuclear tests could have contaminated the photographic plates, creating those bright points. The initial photograph taken at 8:52 p.m. might have been contaminated by the radioactive dust, and when they returned 50 minutes later, the radioactive dust might have dissipated, resulting in the absence of the 3 bright points. However, this remains an uncertain theory. To ascertain the truth, We need to capture such events in modern sky surveys, where rapid follow-up observations are feasible. So, what truly happened to the 3 stars that vanished from the universe? The answer remains elusive. It's still a significant mystery, and no definitive answer exists. It could be an unknown phenomenon that eludes our current understanding. This video aims for your input. What's your idea about the disappearance of these stars? We lack a solution for why 3 stars vanished in a mere 50-minute span. Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with any of these 3 explanations I provided? Do you have other explanations for their disappearance? It's an unsolved case that requires attention because the images are there. I already anticipate some suggesting they're spaceships or aliens. Could it be possible? Nobody considered that possibility. Could Mount Palomar have, in 1952, unmistakably captured for the first time in history, a fleet of alien spacecraft with high-quality cameras and telescopes? And when they discovered they were being observed, did they power down their equipment, causing their disappearance from our sight? Is that plausible? It's my idea, but I want to know your thoughts. So, share in the comments what you believe happened to these 3 stars that suddenly disappeared from the universe in just 50 minutes. Agreed, that concludes the video I wanted to share here on the channel with you all. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button. It greatly supports the video. Don't forget the full YouTuber package. Share, favourite, subscribe if you aren't already. Leave your comments and questions. Until next time.